The airlift of the Dakar from Niger to Libya has begun. This is Ben Edwards with you again for Eurosport's regular update as the Antonovs do their stuff. Today we'll take a look at some of the action from the rally so far, starting with the competition on two wheels as KTM and BMW have been engaged in a head-to-head battle. In the cars, Mitsubishi has had its work cut out to keep the buggy of Schlesser and the Mega of Peter Hansel from taking over the lead, and the gap remains small. The three Russian Antonov 124s that will transport the entire Dakar caravan, some 1,400 miles from Niger to southern Libya, arrived during the night to the fascination of all the competitors, the mechanics, press and support personnel who gathered to watch the gargantuans prepare for work. Over the next few days, the planes will transport 143 bikes, 113 competition cars, 26 race trucks, 38 support trucks and 16 press cars in a series of 18 round trips. Today saw the start of the big manoeuvres, says Ulrich Bremer. We've started the transport by air. These are planes which can take 100 tons of equipment. 100 tons. That's like the three big vans you see around me and 30 cars. For the moment, we've planned 18 round trips with these planes. In the entire world, only a few of these planes exist. The race organisers have managed to get 3 of them to come here. The transport will have finished on Monday the 17th of January, and we will be able to start the competition again on Tuesday the 18th, as planned, from War El Kawir to Waha. After that, there will be 1 week left, and we hope everything can be done. Takeoff here at the Niamey airport requires the full length of the runway, which gave the spectators a few moments of concern the first couple of times they set off. By all accounts, everyone is now used to this last-minute liftoff. Careful account is taken of the weight of all of the trucks and the items going on board, and in fact the helicopters also being transported by the Antonovs. They don't have the necessary fuel range to make it all the way up to Libya, and anyway there's still that threat of terrorist action, so they don't want to be shot out of the sky. The helicopters therefore also being loaded up as part of the equipment to go to Libya. For the moment it's all going pretty well, but we have a few potential logistic problems. It's important to get everybody working together. The timing is very, very close. We've got to get on with it. I hope that nothing interrupts things. So the Antonovs starting their relays of trips up to southern Libya, and then they will be able to get this event underway again. In the meantime, it gives a bit of rest and relaxation for all the crews. This is the weighbridge that they're using for checking out the weight of the trucks before loading them, and of course very careful account is taken of how to distribute the trucks on board the Antonovs to make for a good flying balance. They're loading up 5 trucks at a time. They could carry more, but for decent weight distribution they're limiting to 5, and the fuel tanks must be no more than 3/4 full to allow for the pressurization once they're up in the air. One of the support trucks there for the Sonauto Mitsubishi team, of course their man leading the rally at this point. There's a lot of disappointment within Niger that the rally's not going to pass through the rest of the country, and in fact the government somewhat affronted that its offer of safe passage has effectively been refused, and it would seem likely that the Dakar will not be welcome in Niger for a few years hence, which is somewhat sad. The car's getting ready to go in. This airlift is so impressive, so exceptional logistics. I've never seen anything like it. So Jean-Louis Schlesser running in second place in the event at the moment, remember, having a pretty good rally, trying to defend that win that he took here last year. Stefan Peter Hansel also concerned in the course of loading up that his car, the Mega, which has been the revelation of this year's event, be looked after on the trip to Libya in preparation for the 6-day sprint to the pyramids that they will have once they get into Libya and can carry on with it. Peter Hansel certainly wanting them to take care of his machinery. This is a very particular machine, and it has to be driven in a certain way. It has a particular way of working it. The clutch is quite tricky, special gearbox, even the brakes. So to protect you from damage, either myself or one of the team will move it. So Stefan Peter Hansel hoping it's all in place, and finally the cargo is laid out and ready to load. After the break, we'll be taking a look back over the Dakar so far, starting off with the battle on the bikes.
Mitsubishi Pajero Pinin.
Genau wie Sie kümmere ich mich um die Sicherheit. Bei mir geht es allerdings nicht um Brandbekämpfung, sondern ums Auto. Wir bei Euromaster sind die Spezialisten für Reifen, Bremsen, Stoßdämpfer. Alles, was Ihre Sicherheit betrifft, wenn Sie am Steuer sind.
Euromaster, 1,300 centers in Europe.
That's the one. Bad boy, eh? Boy, look at this. Wanted. Bandit. Suzuki.
Why be tied to one place? The new Nokia media phone puts the world at your fingertips. Nokia, connecting people.
It's British Eurosport's brand new Paris Dakar Rally competition. And here's the question. When did the first Paris Dakar Rally take place? Was it 1969, 1979 or 1989? We've got more than 100 official Paris Dakar board games to be won. And there are portable video game stations for the runners-up. Call now to relive the Paris Dakar adventure at home on 0906 614 0028 and play and win with British Eurosport.
Back to the Paris Dakar Cairo Rally 2000 with Yakko.
This year's 22nd Dakar started on the 6th of January. The motorcyclists set things off at 6 o'clock in the morning. 200 of them starting this year's event. 135 cars, 66 trucks. It's one of the biggest entries ever. Perhaps because of the Millennium celebrations, perhaps because of the new route, taking the competitors from the east side, or to the east side of Africa from the far west, from Dakar all the way across to Cairo. Richard Sank, the winner of the 1999 event, starting as he meant to carry on by setting the pace on the opening stage, the 284-kilometre link from Dakar to Tambacounda. The 29-year-old Frenchman riding for BMW once again, the single-cylinder F650, pumping out about 75 brake horsepower, but they knew their battle would be strong with KTM this year. Last year, Sank's win was over KTM. In that case, Thierry Magnaldi was riding for the team, and Sank won by just over 4 minutes. The mantle of Stefan Peter Hansel, the 6 times winner of the event, still to be grabbed by someone else. Richard Sank, the fellow Frenchman, would love to become a multiple winner of the Dakar and follow in the footsteps of Peter Hansel. Juan Roma has proved to be his main rival, however, the 27-year-old from Barcelona, who's never had great success on the Dakar. He's competed several times. He led in the early part of last year's event, only to fall on the 5th day. This year, second on the first special stage and on the second, and that put him into the overall lead. And he has stayed there since day 2 of the event. Number 12, Jordi Arcarons, another Spaniard, always fast on the Dakar, but never lucky. He won the second special stage. Other KTMs, Kari Tiernan, the enduro specialist, started off well, 7th on the first day, followed it up with a 10th place and an 8th place over the next couple of days. Heinz Kinney-Gardner, team boss for KTM, he's never completed the rally, let alone won it, although he's always fast, always on the pace. It's proved to be the case this year, although all of the KTM suffering carburetor problems in the opening days, which was very frustrating indeed for Kinney-Gardner. For Giovanni Sala here, he also had problems on the opening days. And Fabrizio Mioni probably had more of them, more problems that is, than any of his teammates. The experienced Italian really coming into this event as one of the favourites, main rival in many people's opinions to Richard Sankt for the victory, but it all went wrong for him really from day one. He couldn't get the machine to run properly, it wouldn't fire up again after he'd switched it off at checkpoints, and it just did not want to pull the revs at all. Finally they managed to get it sorted out, but it has been tough. It had been tough for Mioni. This was him after the third special stage. He said, well, should have won today, but I've got engine problems, got a fuel blockage, some sort of blockage in the line with 30 kilometers to go. It's all blocked up in that fuel system, and all our hard work is being undone. It's a miracle that I even managed to finish the stage, let alone put in a quick time.
È un peccato, è già un miracolo comunque che sono arrivato qua, perché credo che già questo sia già tanto.
Poor Fabrizio Mioni, his morale really dropping in those opening days. It was even worse for Jordi Arcarons the next day. Water in the oil system of his KTM spelt the end of another challenge from the Spaniard. He was in 3rd place overall at that point. And then on stage 4, Fabrizio Mioni's rally was about to get even worse and a bit more painful, it has to be said. He was running in 3rd place overall, took a tumble and dislocated his shoulder, which the medical crew on site immediately tried to relocate. And that wasn't the end of the woes for the KTM team. Giovanni Sala also went out. He suffered a crash on one of the liaison sections, and that blew his arm up into a swelling, and then mechanical problems with the bike itself put him out finally when he was running in 5th position. And then on the 6th special stage, Kari Tiernan, another enduro specialist, had complete gearbox failure. It locked up on him. And Alfie Cox, number 6, had engine failure. He ended up taking Tiernan's engine. They swapped engines on the stage. Cox is still in it, but he's gone from 7th to being nowhere. And it's not just KTM who've had problems. John Deacon, the British rider on the BMW, had been in 9th place overall, but he also suffered a nasty accident, which put him out of the event.
I'm not going to start crying, but I feel we only had to have 2 more days and then we were in the sand, you know, and then the bike is so strong in the sand. But, you know, this piece today was very difficult, and my shoulder is dislocated, but it goes back in, and my hand is really swollen, it's broken, and also my hips are hurting. But I can walk and talk, and you know, I'll be home in a few days. Okay? Okay.
Well, home by now indeed, John Deacon. A great shame to see him out of the rally, but that's the way it goes, and hopefully he'll be back for another one next time. Richard Sankt had a problem with his rear tyre. The mousse, the foam inside the tyre, had broken up, so he had a puncture. He waited at one of the checkpoints for his teammate Oscar Gallardo to turn up. He did, and they swapped rear wheels, and they didn't lose any time through this because they did it at the checkpoint. However, KTM have said that they don't think that this is within the rules, and they have in fact put in a protest against what happened on this day, and they've appealed again today against this. Richard Sank saying, regarding what happened, we work as a team, and nobody is above anybody else within the team. We all work for whoever amongst us is leading, whoever that happens to be. It is a great outfit.
Il faut pas faire de faute. J'essaie de me maintenir dans les 5 premiers pour pouvoir un peu surveiller les autres devant, et c'est ce que j'ai fait.
So that was Richard Sank. Jimmy Lewis had a tumble, the American, on the BMW, also riding the Boxer engined BMW, the twin cylinder, as opposed to the single cylinder machine of Richard Sank and Oscar Gallardo. Heinz Kinnigadner flat out as ever, but then on the 6th special stage, when he was trying to help his teammate Juan Roma, they both got lost. Kinnigadner then had an engine problem, Roma got away, and Kinny ended up even more lost. So he dropped back in the overall standings as a result of this, and it's going to make life a little harder for him to help Juan Roma when the rally does restart. At the end of the 6th day, before the interruption came, Richard Sank and Juan Roma, the two of them riding together, Roma the overall leader, some 22 minutes between them, but riding together almost as if they were in a team for the final 100 kilometers of the stage, deciding not to do anything crazy at this point in the event. And Juan Roma was very appreciative of Richard Sank's riding.
Tengo que decir que Richard se ha comportado muy bien, porque
Richard is a great rider,
siempre a un lado de la pista, que
and we decided
aparte de ser un gran piloto,
to ride home together.
Que es una buena persona, porque realmente se ha comportado como tiene que ser, ¿no?
He's a great man as well. I'm really pleased. It was lovely that we could do that. So Roma is the rally leader for KTM, 22 minutes ahead of Richard Sank on the BMW. KTM yet to win the Dakar. I suppose the interruption favours them a little more now, because there'll be less time to go when they do restart. After the break, we'll be taking a look back over the car competition so far, so stay with us here on Eurosport.